Southern California Honda dealers. I'm Chris McGee. Big game James Worthy, Robert Ory, Mike Bresnahan is going to join us. We got Allie Clifton and Mike Trudell working the post-game locker room. We'll get to the Lakers losing to the Nuggets in a moment. The biggest news of the night, in case you missed it, with a little under 3 minutes left in the second quarter, Anthony Davis left the game on this play. He suffered a right Achilles strain, the same Achilles that caused him to miss 2 games on their homestand with tendinosis, and an MRI is scheduled for Monday. You see AD right there kind of grimacing in pain. James, you noticed the way he was walking off. It gave you a little bit of relief, but I'm sure until you get the news of the MRI, there's always going to be a little nerves for all of Lakers Nation, and you hope he's okay.
Absolutely. Nothing is confirmed until you get the official MRI. But of the Achilles injuries that I've seen over my career, 3 or 4, I've never seen anybody walk away that normal. I remember when Kobe tore his, you kind of slide that foot because you cannot make a step. So, I mean, I'm no doctor, but that to me looked like a decent sign. And then when I heard that it was just a strain, obviously we're still waiting for the MRI.
Yeah, it's going to be crucial the next couple of days, try to get that swelling out, try to figure out what's going on. But I think the biggest key is for him not to rush back and for him to take his time and make sure that this injury is fully healed. Because he came back, he says, about between 85 and 95% healed. But when you're dealing with an Achilles injury, it's hard to get out there and exert all that energy like he does, especially being at the size and being as mobile as he is, because he's not one of those bigs to just sit back and block shots. He's active, he's running, he's doing a lot of things where he needs that momentum, that energy, and that effort to push off on that Achilles. So hopefully he takes his time.
I want to be clear that there's been no timetable set, but let's assume he misses some significant time. The Lakers learning how to play without one of your stars. They were 4-1 without AD coming into tonight. Now, AD did play. He had 15 points, but they're going to have to get used to it a little bit more often, James, we think. That means a bigger role for Markieff Morris. That means Montrezl Harrell has to do his thing. Weird tonight, his line. He only had 1 shot with the final 2 minutes of the game. He ended up with a couple, but that was kind of strange. Kuz had a good night at 19 and 8. Obviously, Kuz's role offensively, you're going to need a huge tick up.
Yeah, you're going to have to, really ask people to do their jobs better. Not so much do more, shoot more, but just do it better. I think Tucker may play a role as well with AD out. They may have to go a little smaller at times, obviously with Trez as the big. So, yeah, they're going to have to adapt. They have enough players and enough combinations that the coaches have already seen that they're going to have to work with and play big.
Sorry, James. Rob, even with AD in the lineup, the Lakers still sometimes look like they're missing that rim protection because they don't have JaVale and Dwight, and people are so used to last year's team, even though they're still the #1 rated defensive team. But then you lose AD. Now you really start to look and say, where is that rim protection going to come from? How do they make up for that on the defensive end without AD?
I think it's going to fall on the individual, because it boils down to individual D. You have to stay in front of your man and don't let him get by you. When you have that luxury of letting someone get by you and having a shot blocker, you can get up on them. I don't want to, when I say play safe defense, that means don't let them blow by you so easy, because if you notice the Lakers defense, they're a lot more aggressive on the perimeter, which allows the guys to get by them, and you have those shot blockers back there. When you don't have shot blockers, you got to go chest to chest, keep a guy in front of you, and don't give him the angles, because if you watch the way the Lakers defense, they get in angles and they force you one way. So now it's going to be up on the individuals to try to play individual defense and not let them get the paint, because you don't have that rim protector.
Once again, not sure on the timetable. James, what does it do to a locker room when you see one of your superstars go down?
Well, initially, it's a downer. But then when you know that a player's going to be missing game, immediately it kind of gives you incentive to bind together. They know they're going to be without him. They're going to have, just like Rob said, they know they're going to have to play a different style of defense. They don't have him back there to protect the rim. And they have been doing that this season. They play really good defense, taking charges before it gets to the rim. Offensively, they'll worry about that. We talked about that. Tucker, Montrez getting more shots. But it's the defense, it's where they're going to have to make most of the adjustments, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's gonna be key to play good defense. But if you think about it, you got Trez. We don't talk about his shot blocking ability. He can block the shots. And we've seen what KK can do. Kuz, he's been blocking a lot of shots. But it's going to be up to everybody, team effort. This is going to be a moment where they have to do a lot of talking, a lot of helping, a lot of rotating. And you've seen the moments where they are able to do that. But now it's going to be for not just 2 or 3 games, maybe 10-plus games.
Let's break down this game a little bit. Lakers' 7-game win streak is snapped. Listen, Jokic was fantastic. He had a triple-double. Murray was great. He had 25. I want to focus a little bit on the Lakers side. Guys, they were minus 39 from three-point land. That is a baffling number, lost by 17. I mean, the Lakers hit 6 threes, just 21%. Meanwhile, Denver hit 19 threes. That's the most threes the Lakers have given up all year. So there's your minus 39. And I want you to look at this, James, because we've talked a lot about it over the last few games. Here's the three-point drop-off. Remember, through 16, 17 games, this team was the best shooting team in Laker history. They were 3rd in the league from behind the arc, but it's dropped off. They're averaging under 10 made for the last 12 games. Under 30% in the last 12 games. That's 29th best in the league. Only the Wizards are worse. And guys, here's the crazy part. They're 9-3 in those 12 games. So they're still finding a way to win. But when you play a team like Denver that's clicking offensively, it's good night. You cannot keep up with them.
Yeah, I can understand a little drop off, but this is too dramatic right here. It's a little concerning. I know they were without AD in games, but the offense has to flow like it was maybe a month ago when the ball was moving. It was inside out. They had a lot of downhill, not just LeBron either. It was Schroeder, it was Caruso. So they need to get back to that good ball movement, attacking the bucket, collapsing the defense, kicking it out to uncontested threes. Now, they've had some threes, but they haven't dropped. That's a little concerning to me that they dropped off that much.
You know what's funny? I'm usually be a bad cop.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to be a bad cop.
Be a
because
positive cop.
You look at what happened in this game. Denver's bench had 9 threes made. We got guys that made threes off the bench we never even heard of. You want to say who he played for. And so I don't look at this as a negative, you know, because.
But are you concerned about the 12-game run they're on, shooting the 3?
No, I'm not concerned about it because they're getting dubs. And that's what's wrong with basketball. Now, everybody thinks they judge your game on the 3-ball. Yeah, I'm sure you got to make some in this day and age, but if you win in games, that's all that's matter. It doesn't have to be with this percentage, but tonight, Denver shot the ball above and beyond what they normally do. Their bench had 9 made threes, and you got a guy named Zeke, who I've never even heard of. He went to the fake U of A, and he came out and made 4 threes, and I'm like, and the guy Compacto, whatever his name is, he had 3 threes, and so I don't know who these guys are. So you're going to have moments, this is the NBA, you're going to have moments like this when guys make threes. So I'm not, when you talk about 3 balls, like, the good cop, Rob, is not even worried about it tonight. You
I
know?
don't mind. Yeah, I know they're going to make them. they got hot, but I'm concerned about 6 for 28.
I'm not concerned about it.
I'm a little bit concerned
on a
about
nice
that,
basis, it seems
Hey,
like. Hey, I'm going to ask you this.
The drop off, the 29%, I'm a little bit concerned
How
about that.
concerned are you guys with KCP? Remember about 12, 13 games ago, he had, 7 threes against the Bucks since that time. I mean, again, tonight, look at his line, 7 points. And I know Frank said, listen, he is struggling, but a lot of teams are not giving him open looks, and we don't want him shooting contested. It's more when it's, you know, so that goes back to James's point about the ball movement and getting wide open shots. You know, maybe the Lakers aren't getting the same looks, but Kenny Pope has struggled big time.
A little distracted to me. He looks a little distracted, a little frustrated. You know, this has happened maybe a few games ago when the drop-off from the 3 started to happen for him. I'm not worried about it. I know he can knock it down. I just think it needs to flow offensively. It needs to flow a little bit more, break down the defense. You know, I just don't know what's going on in his head personally. We know he can knock him down. He's not getting – teams are aware of Pope. They're not leaving him. When LeBron drives downhill, they're smart enough to not get sucked in and stay at home. So he's not getting those freebies that he used to do. So it's going to have to take some ball movement and some breaking down of the defense for him to get open.
Yeah, I definitely understand what you're saying, and I agree with you. Not worried. I mean, he's earned that trust. He was big in a championship series and in a playoff run. He deserves where he is with this organization. But you know, 5-6 straight games, not in double figures, Rob, and you need that from him.
The problem is players sometimes say, "Oh, I'm a 3 3-point shooter.
be
No,
more
you're a
than that.
basketball player
Yeah.
first. So you saw that one move where he had a big on, he pump fakes and goes around. You don't always have to shoot a three. I know when he drives to the hole, sometimes we go, oh no, but hey, go to the hole, get your layup. Let the ball go through the basket. I remember it was about 5 or 6 games ago where he was on this same streak. He got a layup, saw it go through the basket, then he ran off like 4 threes in a row. Don't always depend on the three ball. And I think with him, guys get into that role and says, oh, I gotta get a three. And if you take an example from KK. He got out of that role. He said, I'm just gonna play basketball. I'm gonna take what the defense gives me. And I think with Kenny Pope, he needs to do